Well, Snowmageddon is supposed to hit us here anytime. They said that at 3 o'clock we're supposed to start snowing, and we just finally thawed out. For the last, I keep hearing the snow cracking from the trees, from the ice from the last few days. So it's really weird today because it warmed up, and we have been down in the mid-teens and low 20s for a week now, which you can feel the cold down low now. And most of the snow that we had gotten a few days ago has melted, so the roads are clear and everything's clear, but now we're coming with our second blast. We don't usually get this much snow. I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, we would get snow. But then for a while, we didn't get any. In the 90s, we got a little bit. 80s, when I was in high school, every January, February, and beginning of March was always snowy, and I used to have to drive my Firebird through the snow, and it was not a good car to drive in the snow. But it hits and misses. In 96, we had a silver thaw, which was an ice storm, and it broke a lot of my trees. I was living in this house in 96, and that was a bad one. And then we had another one in the early 2000s, I believe. So what's really kind of starting to make me think that we really are going to get a lot of snow is it warmed up. And out here in the Pacific Northwest, when it warms up and we have been cold for a week, we get the big, thick, wet flakes. So the sky is that weird color. I mean, you can see behind me, that's the sun. It's just above the fence line. We don't get very bright out here in the wintertime. So right now, I'm going to make a walk through. I'm going to take you with me. You can hear the birds in the background. I think I have 3 feeders and 7 suet that I keep for the winter for the birds, and it's time to restock them because if we get the snow that we're going to get, it's going to be pretty cold. So I'm going to take you off the tripod. I'm going to show you the feeders. You can hear the birds. They've been flying in and out all day. I'm going to get these feeders filled. I already did the hummingbird feeder, and she was already here this morning. She was cold, but she was waiting for me to put the nice warm nectar out for her. And I think there's a few feeders that need to have some attention. So let's get you off the tripod and we'll go for a walk real quick. So as you can see, most of the snow that we got a few days ago has melted. And I have my seed out here. So this seed has raisins and stuff like that in it for the bigger birds like the blue jays and stuff like that. I have my different flavors of suet, and I have my regular bird seed. I also have 2 feeders, one here and one way over there. And then I have my suet feeders, and they look like they're pretty good. They just got cold, so you can see the kitty prints in the snow. That one still looks pretty good. So it looks like I might just have to just set up the... I think I'll probably replace that one. Fill up some more bird seed. Oh, this is really slippery back here. And kind of look at everything that... You can hear the crunching. Ooh. Yeah, it thawed out a little bit, but we still, you can tell where the sun doesn't hit. We still have, for us, a lot of snow. The garden has the snow. Pretty much everything has been frosted. I hope my bay survives. It looks pretty good. It did get burnt, but it'll come back. The greenhouse has melted. We covered the back with a big tarp. We had 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it came out of the east. And what it did was it filled the whole back up where the feral cats stay, and they were sitting out there with just snow covered on top of their heads in their heat mats. So we covered that, and hopefully the winds will be okay for them tonight. We're supposed to get the same 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts again. Possible. Hopefully it'll come out of the north and not out of the east. I did block it all the way across so they can get back in. So let's get these bird feeders filled, and then I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go turn on my heater out in my potting shed and pot up some seeds. And this is the bigger seed, and the woodpeckers like that seed. So it looks like I just have a couple to fill up, and then I will get on with planting. Now what I do with the suet that is kind of really picked over is I just leave it in my garden, and the squirrels come in and will pick at the last of it, and so that feeds them too. Alright, so that only took about probably 5 minutes to do. There was 4 of the suet feeders that were actually completely empty, and they were happy to see it. And I left the camera rolling just for a few minutes. You can see how fast that they came over to eat this, the seed and stuff that I just put out. The wind just came up and it's dropped, and there's my sister. We're gonna go take care of running around for a little bit. Go fight the madhouse of stuff. But the birds are enjoying their food, and I'll get back to you, and hopefully we'll have some snow pictures. So thanks for watching. Okay. I'm gonna check on my strawberries that I put out here 2 days ago. Okay, so they're not cold. They're kind of warm. They do look like they're doing okay. Make sure that they all got, I'm dripping water. That's warm. This is warm. It says it's 76. Wow, it's wild. It has only been, ooh, it's getting snow in my nose. It's only been about an hour and a half, and it is just covering. In fact, I'm not gonna be able to wear these boots. I gotta go get my good boots because it's gonna be so snowy. You can hear cars already spinning out. So here I come out into my beautiful potting shed. Oh, look, see if you can see. Oh, isn't that cool? So you can really see the fence. And hopefully it's coming through in there. It's the chicken wire, and the snow is sticking on the chicken wire. Isn't that crazy? The snow is sticking on the chicken wire. Okay, so I had planted out here at the beginning of the week, on the 30th, 9 days ago, some dahlia seeds. Now it is really cold out here, and I didn't think that they would sprout, but they're going to go on the heat mat, so they should be fine. Because it is, dun 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 dun, 31. 31 degrees. So it is actually, it looks like it, yeah, it might be 28 degrees out here. It's negative, what is it? Negative 1 Celsius, I think. Actually out of the wind and with winter clothes on, it's actually nice in here. My hands aren't cold. The heater smells though. It smells hot because it hasn't been used in a couple of years, but that's okay. It'll be nice in here. It is so pretty outside. I really like the snow. I have an appointment that I need to be 30 miles away Monday morning at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to make that appointment. There's no way. I don't own snow tires. I don't even own a set of chains because this is just not normal. Now, this was normal 25 years ago, so maybe our climate has changed back to the way it should be. Yay! Snow! Less mosquitoes! I actually hear a snowplow, I think. Not a snowplow, a snow blower, like somebody's out there blowing the sidewalk, because that's another thing that we don't do here because we never have snow. I don't even think I own a snow shovel. I used to, but I don't think I own one. I have a flat-bladed shovel, and I'm really tempted to go out and flat-blade the sidewalk out in the front, so I don't know if I'm going to. We don't have a sidewalk out in front of our house because we live on a weird street that never got sidewalks. This was the scary street that I was never allowed when I was a kid. I grew up on the street behind me, so I share an alley with my old house that I grew up with, and that street had lights and sidewalks and everything. This was the scary, you know, Friday the 13th street that never had lights. When Halloween came, we were not allowed to, at dark, to go down this street because my dad said it was too dark and too scary for girls to be out on this street. So I bought a house on it. So now it's not dark and scary because they screwed up our lights by putting street lights on this street. And this was a beautiful front yard to look up into the night sky because there was no street lights on the street, so it was super dark and you could see the sky and see the stars in the summer, and then they went and ruined it with light pollution. But oh well, now our street isn't scary anymore, but we still don't have sidewalks, which suits me just fine. So anyhow, I am going to show you the seeds that I'm going to start today, because these are the seeds that I should have started last week, but we were down in the teens and I just couldn't go outside. It was a solid sheet of ice out in my yard and I didn't want to hurt myself. So now it's just snow. And it's funny because in the amount of time that I fed the birds this morning, and that was just at 11:30 to quarter to 12, I fed the birds, and then I'll show you the other clip that I had that was about 40 minutes later after I had gone to the store and came back and I walked around the house. We actually got a substantial amount of snow for this area. It's pretty. It looks really nice, and hopefully my husband will make it home tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning because he is 35 miles away. But he got his snow tires on yesterday morning, so his car has snow tires, so he should be home safely, hopefully, unless we get 2 feet of snow, and then he needs to follow the snow plow home off the freeway. So anyhow, I'm gonna let you go, set my camera up, and we're gonna discuss on what we are planting today. Yay! In the snow! Yay! It's a first! Oh boy! I'll be right back. Thanks. The first thing that I need to plant today is I need to finish planting my blue sea holly. These are the two things that I planted. Let's see, how many did I plant? I think I planted 3 pots of them. I don't remember. It was last night. That's how fast my memory goes. Anyway, so these were the leftover ones that, was it last night or the night before? Anyway, I don't know. These are the last ones that I had left that I didn't have pots for. But I have pots out here, so this is the first thing that I'm going to pot up and get them in on my shed. And then I brought out a bunch of lettuces. So I'm going to set some lettuces up for a class, and what I'm going to do is I need to have the lettuces being able to be pricked out at about between 10 and 14 days. Now, I'm not going to put these on the heat mat. I am going to put them in the window. It won't freeze. I might have to put them on the heat mat if we get too cold, and I'll set the heat mat to about 62 degrees, and that way it'll warm the soil up just enough to sprout this lettuce. So with the weather that we're having right now, it's going to be an iffy thing that they're going to sprout at the right time. So what I'm figuring I'm going to do is I'm going to start some today, and then in 2 weeks I will start more lettuce. Now if it sprouts like it's supposed to, in 2 weeks I will be potting on and moving them on to my plug flats, and I will end up planting those myself. That way, 2 weeks from then, they should be ready to go to the class and teach how to prick out the seeds and put them in flats. That's what my goal is. So about every 10 days I'm going to plant some more lettuce in the pots, and hopefully we will hit the timing just right. So I have the black seeded Simpson, I have some Paris romaine, some red romaine, bib lettuce, some different romaines, most of it is just like Grand Rapids leaf lettuce. So I have a bunch of lettuces from 2017, 2018, and 2019. I'm going to heavy seed, so whatever comes up, and then I will prick out what's growing. So that's my lettuces. I'm also going to start some kale and spinach today. I'm going to start a few purple sprouting broccoli for early cropping, and then I will start some more in about the end of April, maybe middle of May. I will start more for my fall crop. So some of it will be started then. I'm also going to start some Swiss chard today. I'm going to start some onions and some pak choi. Now the pak choi I'm going to start today. This is supposed to be harvested in 30 days. This is going to go in my cracky hydroponics, so that's ready to go. I just need to plant some of this and get it started. I like growing my pak choi in the cracky hydroponics because it's clean, it's quick, I don't have to waste any space in my garden, and I can have some pak choi in the very pretty close middle of March is when I, 1st of April, and then I'm done until the fall, and then I'll plant some more. I do grow this out in my garden. In the past, the slugs love it, and I just don't feel like fighting slugs. This way, it's in my cracky, don't have to worry about it. It's hydroponic. I can just throw it in there and harvest when I'm ready. So I always throw some in every spring just for some good stir fry. The flowers, and I got my celeriac. I think I might have showed this, I'm not sure, but it came from rareseeds.com or Baker's Creek Heirloom Seeds. That's the same company. So if you go rareseeds.com, it comes up Baker's Creek. If you look for Baker's Creek, it comes up Rare Seeds. It's the same company. I'm excited because this stuff, if you can find it in the stores for a little celeriac bulb, like about that big, $5. That's way too expensive. This was like $2.50 for 200 seeds. So I have a lot of celeriac. I'm also going to start the 2 little mini cabbages. These are the tiny ones. I'm going to start some cabbages for today. And I have some chives that I'm going to start. Coleus, begonia, strawflower, and snapdragons. Those are my flowers that I'm going to start today and get some. Oh, and then I did have, what else do I have? I have my miscellaneous dahlia seeds. Yay! And then I have the ones that I actually collected from my red spiky ones. Who knows what they're going to turn out like, because the bees did their work and they're going to be surprise dahlias. So I'm excited. What else? And some Tokyo long bunching onions. Okay. So these, get up here, are my dahlia seeds. I do not know what seeds these are going to be, but I am just going to sprinkle them lightly in here, and then I will prick them out when they come up. I don't know how many is going to come up, but it'll be nice to have some seed dahlias. Okay, I do have a few of these plastic 6-pack trays that I saved from last year. If you're real careful with them, they last for a while. So I have a few of these, and I am going to plant some bunching onions in these. It's about 6 to 7 seeds per station. So I have 6 stations in each one. And what will happen is I will plant this out into my garden in clumps. So the bunching onions will come up and I'll just pull them out as a bunch. Saves space, and it just is easier that way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to plant is I'm going to plant some celeriac. Like I said, I think I have 200 seeds. This stuff is very expensive here in the stores. I don't think people over here know even what to do with it. Probably can find it in the Asian stores. There's just not one. Well, I guess there's one kind of close to me. But to go to get celeriac, it just doesn't seem like it'd be feasible. So I'm just going to grow my own. So it needs 8 to 12 weeks before you can, boy, these seeds are tiny, 8 to 12 weeks before you can plant these out into the garden, before the last frost. Well, this year we might be exactly 8 weeks out. So I am just going to very lightly spread some seeds. And then in about 2 weeks, as soon as they get a little, or big enough for me to prick out, I will prick them out and put them in modular trays until I move them out into the garden. So that's all I'm going to do for these. I'm going to throw a little bit of soil over the top, water them down, and they will go into my shed also. Okay, now for my cabbage, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I am going to divide this small seedling tray up to the red and the green because I don't need a lot of cabbages, and I want to do them a few cabbages now and a few cabbages later. Okay, so this is the red cabbage. And I'm just going to try to evenly space them on one side. And that way it'll give them a little bit a better chance before. Whew, I can really feel the air. I gotta get the something out here to control that. That is just cold. It is really getting cold. It's coming right out of the north. So I am just going to cut one of these and just divide this just a little bit. That way I know where the side is. And I can write with this. Ugh. I can just put red because I know that was the red cab. So red cab on this side. And then get my green cabbage. Green cabbage on that side. Okay, so the heating mats are 77, yep, 77, and those are some of the seeds. These guys I just moved out, and here's what I just put out here today. The timer for the lights will go on for a couple hours. I have the lights on now because it's almost dark out. This heating mat is set at 70, and it's just starting to warm up now. When I first turned it on, it was 48 degrees. The mats were 48 degrees, so they are, this one is coming up. The other ones have been on for 24 hours, so these just have only been on just for about 15 minutes. My feet are frozen from running back and forth into the potting shed. I am just so cold. Well, I finally made it in, took my shower. I was so cold. I can't believe running back and forth from the potting shed to the grow shed, back and forth in the snow. By the time I got my boots off, my feet were red. So I soaked my feet for a little bit in some warm water, had some dinner. Uploaded this video. I just wanted to make an ending to say thank you very much for watching, and hope everybody's staying warm and cozy, and spring should be around the corner any time now, but it looks like that we're going to get this a little bit longer here over in the Pacific Northwest. Oh well, it's winter time. So I will see you guys next time, and have a happy sowing for all you guys that are sowing your seeds. If you have your heat mats, and if not, a few more weeks and everybody will be sowing seeds. Have a great night, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.